Action. That's Dr. Miriam Annie. I was studying her work. Yeah, well, I was studying her work from when. Yeah? She has a BA degree in philosophy from the University of Chicago, MD and a PhD degree in anthropology. These are highly educated females. Who's that on the side there? Everyone must know her.
Is that Francis?
That's Francis Cresswell.
Yeah.
Right? And she wrote the book, the ISIS paper, years ago. Any girl on your Texas, I go, he just said, yeah, her boyfriend loves me. But if you send her this picture, she'd be confused.
She'd be like, some psycho, man.
She'd be like, what's he trying to tell me about her? What's wrong with her? She'd be calling me. You see the difference? So therefore, why do we stupidly go around and call that a heart if it's not? It's important because when you read the Bible and it keeps talking about the heart, the heart, the heart, and you see pictures with Jesus with the heart, the heart, the heart, what are you talking about? Where did I say the heart was? Does that look more like a heart?
Yeah.
Does it?
The flower bit. Yeah.
What do you think?
It looks more like that shape. Yeah, it is the heart shape.
Because that is the heart. What is the heart? It's the cerebellum. You understand? Because if you look here, what does it say? Arbor vitae. What does it mean? The tree of life. So therefore, that's why Christians could never tell you what the tree of life in the Bible meant concerning Adam and Eve. Because they keep talking about the heart of man, but as a man thinketh in the cerebellum. Because further up on the brainstem, we have the olives, and we have, what else do we have? We have the pons. What's the pons? Who was looking for Jesus? Wasn't it Pontius Pilate? If this is the tree of life, the arbor vitae, which is the cerebellum, is this what they were talking about in the Bible? Because I've asked you years ago. Ask the Christians when you see them. What is the tree of life? What are the two trees? One was good for eating and one Adam shouldn't touch. They can't tell you the answer because they don't know. That's why they're like, oh, is that the Old Testament? I've got the New Testament. I'll get you in the New Testament. I don't care where you run. Do you understand what I'm saying? The inner eye, the eye behind the eye, just above and attached to the pineal gland by delicate electrical wires or nerves, is called the optic thalamus, and it means light or eye of the chamber. So when somebody come up to you and say, I'm opening my third eye, you go, you mean the thalamus? And they go, huh? Because we repeat stuff. You have to understand what the pineal does. You have to understand what the pituitary does. That's why when we used to go to training one time, we was talking to this psychologist, and he was trying to let me know that when you give them this bottle milk, a baby, he said there's no difference from the bottle milk and the breast milk. I said, excuse me? And he went, well, there's slight differences, but you just said there's no differences, but now there's a slight difference. But that slight 1 degree makes a world of a difference. Because they will tell you that even where the earth is situated now, even if it was moved over by a degree, it couldn't sustain life. We don't really understand Atugya. If it was moved over by a degree, it couldn't sustain life. So therefore, when a mother feeds the baby, how can you say the breast milk is close to what the mother's producing? Do you know what centers in the brains are lit up when she's feeding? Ask the professors, don't ask me. They'll tell you. So for you to be sitting down as a psychologist, trying to tell me and bring up all of these names from the 18th century, you're talking shit. And that's why ISIS showed you her feeding from the breast. What's the first symbol I showed you when I come in here? It was the circle with the dot in the center, which is the breast. never-ending matter, mother.
To emphasise her caring nature, Isis was often shown with a baby on her knee, whom she breastfeeds regally. He's Horus, son of Isis. Horus was the god of the sky, the Egyptian Apollo, and his birthday fell at the winter solstice, sometime around December the 25th.
Correct? But the tricuspid valve, if you take out the S, what do you get? Cupid. So the thalamus in Latin means the inner room. The inner room where Jesus met his disciples. What disciples did he meet? The 12 of them. Do you understand? This is the 12th convolution of the brain sitting near the tentorium. So from 1 to 12 are the 12 disciples, and Jesus sits here. What do you mean the caterpillar transforms itself into a butterfly? So therefore, where is your place of transformation? Is it here? I'm going to show you that this way. Because when you look, you will see the center right here, and this center is Jesus. Why do I know it's Jesus? Because Mender P. Hall said, according to the Bible, the upper room is where Jesus went. A matter of fact, this is the upper room. But I'm going to take an excerpt from this book and show you what he's talking about. Quickly, he says that the brain in the upper room refers to the gospel where Jesus met with his disciples. What did it say? It said the brain is the upper room referred to the gospel where Jesus met his disciples. And it is said that the disciples themselves represents the 12 convolution of the brain. It is where 12 convolution were later sent to met their messages by means of the nerves into the body below to convert the Gentiles or preach the gospel in the Middle Earth. Tough in Egypt, right? So in Egypt he was known as, they called him Tahuti. We say Ahati, because according to Joel Massey, that's what his name was. Ahati, I have an idea. Aha, an idea through thoughts, Thoth. Do you understand the principle? So now, Thoth is having a conversation, who they call Hymes, with his son Tatius, and Tatius is asking him about God. Nor form, nor matter cannot be apprehended by senses. I understand. O Tatius, I understand that which is impossible to define, that is God. Do we understand that? So therefore, when someone comes to you and say, God's name is Jehovah, God's name is Allah, God's name is this, there is no name for God. And where did the Muslims miss the trick? What did they say? There is no God but Allah. What did they say? Allah. There is no God? Allah. There is no God?
That's what you know. There is no God. That's it. Full stop.
But if they say there is no God but Allah, then who's Allah? Allah's the all. Who's the all? The all is Atom. Because it's atoms. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So this is why Tatius, in the 5th century BC, is saying, well, that which is God is hard to define. You can't define God in your corporeal state. They call this part, and I said to it means stars coming.
Ariston. Is it Ariston?
Yeah. You remember I was talking about that stars? I think I did that in the last class.
Yeah.
And I said to you, it means stars coming. So therefore he's saying the stars shines forth. But what are they talking about, the stars shining forth? Said Hermes, the great Egyptian master. Happy is who? Happy is he? Happy is he whose vices died before him. What do you mean? Happy is he whose vices died before him. We can look at Hermes' work and we can quiver and we can quaver, but let's analyze it. Because the sun is constant, never changing, correct? So the whole of this discourse has a hidden and profound meaning relating to human organism. and to elemental genies, which through man are individualized. By Egypt is denoted not only the country of that name, but the physical system generally of the world, and especially, as in the Hebrew scriptures, the human body. What do you mean? These pictures are in their image. Why would they have Jesus and draw him as a black person? And it makes them feel uncomfortable. It goes back to the question, what you asked me earlier, when I showed the guy this Bible, and he put down my Bible. Because he saw the images in there. The Mormon, or the Morons. Straight away, as he saw these images, he just gave me back my Bible. What was the significance of it? The significance is that images
Shape your world.
shape your reality. Because if I showed him this Bible and it was all white people, he would feel comfortable with it. But he's telling you, I don't feel comfortable with it. So why do you feel comfortable with their books and their images when they can't prove any of it? You know what it's called? It's called blackout through whitewash. If you read Dr. Shazar's work, Blackout Through Whitewash, she tells you everything that I speak about. You can catch her on YouTube. Very powerful sister. Do you understand what I'm saying? And most of the things that you see me talking about, she talks about. So we're going to this a little bit further. Many of you have got Professor T. Owen Moore. He's the author of Science of Melanin, Dispelling the Myth. He's a specialist in brain and behavior relationship called Darkness Matter. He's also wrote a book that I sold you another time. He's wrote this book, Darkness Matter, and he's read this book, The Myths of Melanin. Yeah? There's not many people that write books of melanin. Yeah? So I know one and two of you have got this one. If you can get this one, get it. In the human pigment cell, researchers have been decided to attribute a functional role to melanin beyond the sunscreen. It is worth noting that most pigment cell researchers who have investigated the functional role of melanin have historically been non-pigmented in their external appearances. You can understand the difficulty in trying to interpret the complex nature of skin pigmentation when the phenomenon is far removed from the interpreted reality. So therefore, we have a lack of interest and a slow progression towards establishing a hormonal connection with melanin function. Current experimental evidence expose the complexity and shed light on the fact that the skin is a large brain. What do you mean by that? Because when you walk in here, if you're walking from outside in the school and you walk in and you go, it's hot, how do you instantly know that? It's the receptors on your skin that sends the message up to Jesus, and then Jesus sends the message back down. That's how the body works. So the message go up, it's hot in here. What do? It would release certain chemicals if you're overheating to keep the body in a homeostasis or balance. That's what they call homeostasis. Okay, so he said, I'm not suggesting that the skin has the same thinking capabilities of the brain in our skull. The brain in our skull is the most complex entity in the universe. This is a professor talking like this. So if it's one of the most complex things, then it's something that we need to study because your ancestors studied it. Right here at this crustacean, there's a pyramid structure there. And the pyramid, it crosses. So therefore there's an afferent and an efferent. One goes up, one goes down. So if the one is coming from the right side, when it reaches this section, it switches. When it comes back up, it crosses. So right here, they call it the pyramid. Or you can use Gray's Anatomy. These are references that you can find online. You can also use Santi. Santi is an expert on this field, even because they're like, well, is this the mother of Jesus and the child? And if it is she older? Because she's older by thousands of years. And the pneumogastric nerves come all the way down here. Does this look like a tree? That's the second tree. You know that? That's Jesus. Jesus.
Modern day.
That's Jesus Navas. Man City son.
Oh.